Good evening and welcome to The Facts. I'm your host, Tom Kimball. Good to be with you. So, we are going to be talking the NFL draft, primarily the top 5, top 6, because that is where the exciting stuff is going down for now. So let's get right into it. We have the Browns picking at 1, Giants at 2, Jets at 3, Browns again at 4, Broncos at 5, and Colts at 6. And I'm going to round it off there for now. I will be releasing an entire first-round mock draft down the road. That'll be at a later date, though. We're going to stick with the interesting stuff for now, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, Browns are on the clock with the number 1 pick. So the rumors are that the Giants are going to trade the pick, at least that second overall pick. There was rumors with Odell. We really don't know what's going on with them. I think for the sake of this, we're going to say that nobody or no pick is getting traded. So we're just going to assume the way it is now is the way it's going to stay. So personally, Browns on the clock at number 1. I think this is a relatively easy choice. I think they go Darnold at 1. For me, he's the most polished quarterback in the draft, and it seems like of the quarterbacks in the draft, he proved at college and at USC, his college, that he could do the most with the least amount of talent. So I definitely think they need to take him because that basically fits their motto. Excluding Jarvis Landry, they're a team of nobodies, especially now that Joe Thomas is now retired. He should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's a side note. Anyway, I think I got to be careful in this. I got to be careful as to know what they should do and what they should do versus what they will do, right? I think they should do something else, but this is going to be what I think is going to happen. So keep that in mind. Don't call me an idiot for saying that somebody's going to go pick 3 or something like that. This is just what I think will happen, not what I think should happen. Just want to set that record straight early on. Number 2, the Giants. For me, I think that the Giants are going to go Saquon Barkley at pick number 2, which is going to surprise a lot of people because they don't think that a running back should be taken that high. He is by far the most polished running back in the NFL draft since Todd Gurley, who also went very high. You had Adrian Peterson when I think pick number 7. He's right with those type of guys, and he can even catch the ball out of the backfield. Gurley showed he could do that this year. Peterson was never even able to do that. Granted, Peterson's one of the all-time great runners, but I think that it's nice to have that in Saquon's game where he can probably give you, even as a rookie, probably 60 catches a year minimum. And he's also a beast. You saw him at the Combine. You saw his tape at Penn State. He is an absolute monster. Now, this, for me, is where the controversy is going to go down. Pick number 3, I have the Jets going with not Josh Rosen, Josh Allen. I know you're thinking that that's a shocker. Let me explain why. Personally, I think Baker's going to fall due to Johnny syndrome. Now, I understand it's not fair. I understand that a lot of people say you can't compare the two, and they're not the same person, and I agree with you. I don't think that they are, but I don't think that that's going to stop an NFL GM or an NFL owner where they're picking up here for a reason because they can't get stuff right. So they're not going to take that chance. So I think that Baker's going to fall a little while, maybe even outside the top 10. We'll have to see what I say later. Anyway, I think that they go with Josh Allen. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, why not Josh Rosen? I'm not a big Josh Rosen guy. I just saw him, especially one of the things that really turned me off with him, I just saw him on television the other day saying, or Jim Morris said, you have to keep stuff interesting for him to be engaged. It should always be interesting. And B, that is a crappy attitude to have. It doesn't surprise me he's working out with Aaron Rodgers, one of the cockiest people in the world. Now, granted, Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, but I can't freaking stand the guy. I think that Josh Allen personally has a bigger arm. He can do a lot of things with the football. He's more your prototypical quarterback. Small school at Wyoming. I think that the Jets take a chance, take him out to the big market. Like I said, I don't see Rosen going due to the fact that I think arm talent-wise, a lot of people are saying Rosen is the best pure passer in the draft. I don't know what the hell tape they're watching. I have to go with Josh Allen at 3. At number 4, seeing that the Browns, I think they wanted to take Saquon Barkley at 4, and they're hoping that somebody trades with the Giants at 2 so that Barkley will fall to 4. I just have to say that if somehow the Browns can pull off getting Barkley and Sam Darnold, that will change their franchise. I promise you, take it to the bank. I promise you that will change their franchise. But since Saquon in my mock draft for this first couple of picks here, I don't have any trades going down. Not that I don't think any are going down, but we're just going to say for the sake of this right now that I don't think any trades are going to, that I'm not going to allow any trades to go down, I should say. I think they go Bradley Chubb at 4, an amazing compliment to Myles Garrett, who had a very good rookie season. In 11 games, had 7 sacks. That is very solid production, and if you put the two together, only 1 year drafted apart, they could be, I'm not saying either one of them is J.J. Watt or Jadeveon Clowney, but they could be wreaking havoc like so. It may take a little while. It's probably going to take about 2 years for that to happen, but you have to remember they've been rebuilding for 20 years, essentially, so I like Bradley Chubb at 4. He reminds me a lot of the Justin Tuck type of pass rusher, my favorite type of pass rusher. Big, strong, physical, doesn't really need a lot of fancy moves, can just straight up get to the quarterback. I really like that about him. So now, at number 5, the Broncos have a huge decision between, I think they got to go quarterback. So between Baker Mayfield and Josh Rosen, the Broncos are another team that a lot of people are projecting a trade with. Like I said, we're not going to go with any trades for now. I'm going to say they go Baker at 5. There has been, and the reason I say that is not because of what I think about Baker and Josh Rosen arm talent-wise. Yes, I do think Baker's better anyway and can do a lot more with his legs and such. I feel like Baker Mayfield is more of a John Elway than Josh Rosen is, and I think that's obviously an appeal to John Elway, who's the GM of the Broncos. So not only that, the Broncos and Baker have expressed a lot of mutual interest in each other. They've had a lot of different meetings, and I haven't really seen that same consideration with Rosen, so I have to say that they'd have to be leaning towards Baker, unless maybe they saw something in those meetings that they didn't like that they're not disclosing, which I don't blame them, because then that would ruin some trade value of the pick. At number 6, wrapping out this top 6 here, I have the Colts snagging Quentin Nelson, a guard, and I personally think that that's perfect for them, because it doesn't matter if Jacoby Brissett is behind center, if Andrew Luck is behind center, it doesn't matter if Scott Tolzien is under center, it doesn't matter. He is a day one starter, one of the best overall players in the draft, and I think a solid 10-year starter, honestly, and that is so badly what the Colts need. Like I just said, it does not matter who's under center. They cannot protect the quarterback worth crap. Every single year, for the last probably, I think since 2012, since Luck was drafted, they are statistically horrible in terms of QB hits and sacks. They are horrible. So I really think that Quentin Nelson will bring a nice dimension to their offensive line, and everybody will just get a hair better because of him, and his production will be enough to merit that 6th overall pick. On a side note, I do want to bring this up. A lot of people are saying, the Browns just can't get the quarterback right. I have some numbers here. Since this is the facts, we do like to get into the numbers. The Browns have not taken a quarterback in the top 20 since 1999 when they did with Tim Couch. They took him number 1, obviously. So people wonder why they suck, and they say they can't get the quarterback right. That's because for some reason they never take a quarterback in the top 10 or the top 20 for that matter. They've taken 3 quarterbacks in the first round since Couch. A lot of people don't know that. They think it's been a lot more because everybody has that Cleveland jersey with the names on the back of it. They've only taken 3 quarterbacks in the first round since Tim Couch. It was Brady Quinn, Brandon Weeden, and Johnny Manziel. All 3 of those guys, you know what they had in common? Yes, they were busts. They were pick number 22. Like I told you, I believe either earlier today or earlier in this segment, that picks past pick number 20 are a 50-50 shot to even make the roster in the first round. So those last 12 guys, 50-50 shot to make the roster or start a game. That is not very good odds, and that's why they suck year in and year out. It's not that they have the top 5 pick every year that they're taking every single year on a quarterback. That's not the way it's been going with them. They've had some success in the first round drafting players, I'm not going to lie. Some of the players, Braylon Edwards, Joe Hayden, solid examples. Joe Thomas is probably the only one that's safe where you're like, okay, he's a Hall of Famer. But as far as Braylon Edwards and Joe Hayden, without a QB, those guys are freaking useless. I'm sorry, they're not going to win you any games single-handedly. Braylon Edwards was a good receiver for them early on. Joe Hayden was an excellent corner who's now gone, but he was an excellent corner while he was in Cleveland. Probably a top 10 corner every year that he played. But those are the types of moves where they made in the draft where you're like, you might have wanted to go with a quarterback earlier, package up some picks to move up to take a quarterback. Now that they finally have the 1 and the 4, you can't mess this up. They can't. They have Tyrod anyway, so they will get a little bit of leisure this year, because I do think Tyrod's a good quarterback. I think he's extremely underrated, and he'll play well enough for them to probably at least win 5 games. But if you think about it, Tyrod's receiving core in Cleveland is better than it was in Buffalo. That's saying something. But, like I said, they haven't taken a quarterback in the top 20 in a very long time. This is the year they can do it, and that's why I'm confident, A, they won't mess it up. They'll take Darnold. Even if I think they went Josh Allen, or if they took Barkley at 1 and a quarterback at 4, there's a lot of quarterback depth in this draft, and I heard the Browns are considering that because they really like Saquon Barkley, where they're considering taking him 1 and perhaps waiting to see either A, who's there at 4, or some people are saying that Darnold might last till 4 if they take Barkley 1. I think that's crazy. I think they'll probably end up with Josh Allen if that's the case, who, like I said, I think is a phenomenal arm talent. So I don't think that they'll mess that up this year. I just had to say that because I think that stat's really important. People are thinking that the Browns are taking top 5 quarterbacks every year. They're not. So just wanted to get that out there. Those are my picks 1 through 6, granted with no trades involved. I'm your host, Tom Kimball. This is The Facts. Have a good day, everybody.